Saunter through a magical lakeside market, savor the flavors of the mountains of Savoie, and spin out France's finest pots and pans. As Pierre rises above it all in the Alps, this time on Pierre Franey's Cooking in France.
Pierre Franey's Cooking in France is made possible by the Grand Marnier Foundation, proud to support public television, and by Carillon Importers Limited, importing beverages in the spirit of quality.
Savoie is home to France's soaring Alps. In contrast to mountain regions of neighboring countries, the French Alps have never been thickly populated. Pristine pastures and rustic wooden chalets leave ample room for traditional mountainside farms. Winter comes early here, and these hillside passes stay green only a few months of the year. Savoie is situated southeast of Paris on the Swiss and Italian borders. The region was long a part of Italy and became French only in the mid-19th century. Most of its population lives at the foot of the mountains, in lakeside villages and charming towns such as Annecy, and it was here that Pierre was headed. He drove up into the Alps in a light rain, but the weather in these parts can change quickly, and Pierre was hoping for sun. The A41 autoroute to Annecy continues on to Geneva, less than an hour away, and further afield to Italy. The countryside becomes progressively steeper, and with all its tunnels, the road is quite a feat of engineering. Pierre pulled into the commercial outskirts of Annecy, which surround the city's medieval core. Old Annecy looks like a mountainside Venice, with canals running through the historic town. Sunday is the big market day here, and open-air stalls spread out along the streets. Pierre arrived early, and many of the vendors were just setting up. Almost all are farmers from the surrounding countryside. For Pierre, these are the people who make French food so great, and he was exhilarated by the choice on hand.
Look here, nuts. Look at that. Chickpeas, cacahuete, raisins, plums, apricot, olives. Look at all those olives. C'est vous qui les faites, les olives? C'est vous qui les cueillez aussi?
Pierre himself was enjoying the walk. He loved the way nothing here comes packaged. Vendors scoop up the fresh merchandise, and customers go from stall to stall in search of the very best.
All sizes, all different flavors. Those little ones, they're so beautiful. Pumpkins here, cauliflower, bonjour madame. Shallots, peaches, more peaches, grapes. You know, it's endless what you see here. You want to buy everything, you know.
Pierre also wanted to smell everything. Alluring aromas tugged at him from every direction, especially from the golden chickens on the rotisserie in a butcher shop window. For Pierre, a butcher shop is almost as sacred as a church. There was almost every imaginable cut of meat, all laid out and ready for the oven. In France, butchering is still an honored profession, and butchers wear their traditional garb like a medal of honor. Pierre admired the butcher's handiwork, the way the meat was trimmed and boned, pounded out, and wrapped in twine so that it will cook evenly in the oven. French customers are a knowing and demanding lot, but appreciative as well. Pierre could only wish that someday in America, butchers might be honored the way they are in France. By the time Pierre changed back into city clothes, the market was winding down, but there was still plenty of food. A charming older woman selling homemade mountain cheese gave him some hints, and a friendly policeman suggested he try the local sausages. Pierre settled on a pork sausage loaded with hazelnuts. Sausage here is usually eaten as a snack, but Pierre was happy to make an entire meal of it.
Very good, yeah.
The morning marketing had whetted his appetite, and now he was expected elsewhere. He drove out of Annecy along the road that hugs the lake. The Lac d'Annecy was cleaned up only 20 years ago, but today it is reputed to have the cleanest water in all of France. It's a wonderful place to go boating, as well as a picturesque spot for family outings. And all along the shore are scattered fine hotels and restaurants. None match the Auberge de l'Éridan, a 1930s villa remodeled into a luxurious and somewhat pricey palace. Marc Vera, the hotel's chef and owner, is Savoie's cooking sensation. Mountain herbs infuse all his creations, and with a bushelful at his side, the chef began to prepare ravioli, made not from pasta, but from carrots and turnips.
Well, he was born in the mountains, and he was a shepherd when he was a young man, and he still carries his hat. And vous allez dans les montagnes.
Je ramasse toutes ces herbes en montagne. Et vous, je ramasse la ciboule sauvage.
That's wild chive.
Ciboule sauvage. Ici, vous avez de l'aquilée sauvage.
3 times a week, he goes around with some of the crew here. They pick up wild herbs.
Ici, vous avez de l'épinard de forêt.
That's spinach.
De forêt.
This is wild spinach in
C'est
the
de l'épinard
forest.
sauvage, vous voyez, qui est style hexagone.
Yeah.
L'origan, le chénopote Bon-Henri, le bleuet, l'aquilée millefeuille.
Yeah.
Alors ici, vous avez du trèfle sauvage.
This is wild clover with the flowers.
Ici, vous avez de l'origan de
That's
montagne.
Oregon mountain. Everything
D'ailleurs-
is wild. C'est
D'ailleurs,
Oregon.
santé, c'est une
Oh
merveille.
yeah, c'est formidable. Yeah. That's Oregon, wild Oregon.
Ici, vous avez du céleri sauvage.
This is wild celery. All those herbs, you could use any kind of wild herb that you know. If you don't want to use the wild herbs, you could use regular herbs from the garden. Doesn't matter. But he loved to use wild herbs. So this is why, you know, c'est des noisettes, ça. Hein?
C'est la noisette sauvage. Ouais. C'est
Yeah,
la,
yeah.
la petite
Hazelnuts,
noisette.
wild hazelnuts. Everything you could find on a mountain which are edible. So what he does, those herbs is chopped up. They're all there, chopped up. He's going to put them together,
On rassemble les herbes.
and they have to be chopped again, very, very fine. They cannot be too coarse. So you use a good knife, and the technique, you know, I like this technique. You use that like a cleaver almost, and it's very nice. So the next thing he's gonna do, he's gonna do this. He's gonna use carrots and turnips,
Alors voilà,
and he's
après,
gonna shape them.
après je prends mes
It's gonna be
carottes.
the shell of the ravioli. So he cuts the carrots, he peels them first, and he cuts them about 3 inches, and then he's gonna slice them. They have to be very thin.
C'est
It's
un mouvement,
about
un mouvement de va-et-vient, comme ça.
basically it's
Ouais, regardez.
the thickness is about less than 1/8 of an inch. That's gonna be the best for the carrot ravioli with the herbs. Then he's gonna place them in here. So you lay them side by side, flat. It's gonna be steamed for about 3 minutes. Now with the turnips, basically the same thing. This turnip, the long slices like this, the large slices like this, they're gonna be the best for the ravioli. Again, so all this, you're gonna blanch them together. They cannot be overcooked. They have to be crunchy. We got some already which have been blanched. I'm gonna show you how to put them together now.
Un peu de beurre.
So this is melted butter here, and
beurre
he's spreading
la
the
table.
butter with a brush on the table.
Voilà. Pour beurrer légèrement la carotte.
Yeah, because he's gonna lay the carrot over the butter.
Vous allez voir, c'est très facile.
So he's gonna lay those slices of carrots, which has been blanched, right? He overlap them.
Je mets
Deux.
deux pour faire à peu près. Voyez-vous,
Oui.
ce qui est important, c'est de faire à peu près la largeur de l'emporte-pièce.
C'est l'emporte-pièce. You have to be sure
Voilà.
that the
parfait.
cutter fits over.
Alors là, On a une petite carotte, donc on va en mettre 3.
So when you have a small carrot, you use 3.
Silencieux quand même là-bas, oui. Faut que je surveille en même temps.
Yeah, he's supervising his crew. He has to talk to
Ça,
them.
c'est une bande d'assommés.
Ah oui, mais they look like nice kids. Look at that, they're beautiful.
Ouais, ils sont beautiful.
Hein?
Mais c'est une bande d'assommés. Ils sont un peu caquesses, hein, en même
Ah
temps.
ouais.
Alors,
Alors,
on prend un petit peu de beurre,
now again some melted butter, very lightly,
très légèrement,
very little, just enough to cover them,
très léger.
just enough. Okay.
On prend le sel et le sucre.
He's got this is salt,
Voilà.
a little bit of salt, not too much.
Très peu, très léger.
Just, not too much. But here's got sugar,
Little sugar.
very little sugar, not much. Just enough to give a sweetness to it.
Alors, après, on prend cette dose-là.
Yeah, this is 1 teaspoon of those herbs. It's got to be even, you know. And then he's going to put that in the center. This is 1 teaspoon of chopped mixed herbs.
Hein?
And then he's going to make that very neatly. He doesn't want the herbs to be on the side, on the outside of on the edges.
Voilà.
Because he's going to cover that over. It's very important because otherwise the seal, it won't be a good seal on the
Ça colle.
ravioli.
Voilà. Alors,
Alors,
deuxième
voilà.
opération.
Now he's going to take the spatula and move to the
Alors,
butter side or under. The butter side under. Oh,
Parce que
that's the way.
c'est la partie beurrée.
Again, the same thing here. You put a little more salt, a little more brushing with butter, but you have to put more sugar than salt because they're going to go under the broiler. You cut it, put a lot of pressure, you move it, and the one is made. That's the way it looks. Beautiful. Okay. Same thing again on the other side. So you got 2 made,
No problem.
no problem, right?
OK?
Very interesting. It's a technique really that is very, very different. You're doing that because you want the ravioli to be light and done with vegetables. C'est pour ça, non?
Oui. Alors,
Okay. Turn ups
Voilà.
again. Brush with butter.
très
Same thing
légèrement.
again. Little butter.
Voilà. Maintenant, on met les truffes. Les truffes de pays.
Well,
Oui.
what he did
Les
is
truffes de pays, c'est en cacasse. Vous
this
voyez?
is truffles from the countryside. He's got a very nice slicer here.
Voilà.
And you slice them very thin because they are very expensive. But he put enough to
Alors.
give you the flavor. Those truffles, they're local.
C'est une bonne
They're very
recette.
good.
Mais vous pouvez remplacer par des champignons, un petit peu de crème et une feuille de menthe.
He said you could replace the truffles by using mushroom and make a duxelle. This is a very classical dish. Chop mushroom with shallots and little cream to bind it. And over you put mint leaf.
Alors maintenant, nous recouvrons avec le navet.
And he told me too that you could use white truffles. It's not bad either.
Voilà.
All right, you very carefully you put the turnips over,
L'emporte-pièce.
and then you
Que
cut
les
it.
truffes soient bien au centre.
It's very important the truffles are in the center, and he cuts it. So it's very important the surface of the table is even. Très bien.
C'est
Alors
terminé.
maintenant, il n'y a plus qu'à les mettre sous la salamande et une
Les-
vinaigrette. Vous faites une vinaigrette avec ça.
Très facilement.
Oui.
Vous avez...
He has a vinaigrette that's already made here. What he's got in here, he has 2 tablespoons of
Avant de la
water,
confirmer,
3 tablespoons of raspberry vinegar, 4 tablespoons of vegetable oil, and 4 teaspoons of olive oil, salt and pepper, a little bit of sugar. The idea to put the water in here, to put in a blender, to emulsify the vinaigrette together. It's very important. You could do it with a whisk, but you won't acquire the same texture. You got to be blended very, very well. Voilà.
Parfait. Et ça va.
Alors vas-y.
Ça- Ça marche à chaque fois.
He loved that gadget. I brought that over from the United States. He's thrilled with that, huh?
Ouais.
Voilà. Then after that, the vinaigrette is made.
C'est super.
Yeah. Now he's gonna.
C'est
You
super.
want to test it? This is. I like
Voyez,
to like
elle
the
est liée.
texture.
Voyez, regardez comme elle est liée. La texture.
The texture.
On peut pas faire ça au fouet.
No. It
À la
won't
main.
break. He said it won't break. That I know. You know.
Ouais.
It's. I love that gadget. I could do anything.
Je l'aime beaucoup, je vais l'acheter.
Ah oui. Facile.
Voilà.
Venez à New York
Voilà,
et je vous en
absolument.
donnerai un. I give you
Absolument.
one if you come to New York.
C'est gentil.
C'est deal, hein?
D'accord.
OK. Bon, maintenant,
Maintenant,
the vinaigrette is made
con-
and he's going to
on
place
continue
this.
le dressage des raviolis.
Now he's putting everything on the plate, finishing the plate. So he's very carefully, you know, put, it's got to be, you know, right in the right spot. Voila. The next step is going to go to the salamander, which he's going to put them on
Une minute.
for about 1 minute.
1 minute. Voilà.
She's got a salamanders,
Il
which
faut une
is
salamande très vive.
It's
Parce
got
qu'on
to
laisse
be-
très peu de temps, juste pour légèrement tiédir et légèrement caraméliser le
Voilà.
sommet.
the salamander, the broilers got to be very, very hot. They stay about a minute in here, and the idea is to caramelize the top of the ravioli.
Voilà.
So after
Bon.
1 minute, he takes it out.
Ça y est,
Ça y est, c'est prêt. It's hot enough.
c'est
Très
bon.
bien.
C'est bon,
Alors c'est bon.
c'est parfait.
Then he's
C'est
gonna.
vraiment,
Alors maintenant comment?
c'est une recette comme on dit chez nous en caquesse. Voilà, on va mettre un petit peu de vinaigrette.
The sauce, he made the vinaigrette that he made here.
Il faut la
Just
mettre.
brush it. Vous allez en mettre autour aussi, non?
Non, non, non.
Non, just on top.
Juste dessus.
Just on top.
Alors on en met pas trop.
The reason he's doing that is
Pas
that way
trop, pas trop.
the flavor of the vegetables and the ravioli together is going to come out very nicely. He said you could put some over,
Voilà.
they got not too much over,
Et on met le petit bouquet d'herbe.
and you put wildflowers that he picked up in a mountain for decoration.
Et voilà.
And that's it. Huh?
Voilà.
Well, I tell you, it looks very nice, very
On va
appetizing
manger
to me.
un ravioli.
Vous en voulez un aussi, vous?
Non, non, mangez le ravioli.
Euh,
Mangez le navet, voilà.
Le navet?
Le navet.
I'm going to taste both. I like the truffles, you know. You know, it's very good. The flavor comes through. It's really sweet, you know. And the binding, all those flavors, the truffles and the turnip. I tell you, it's amazing. Merci beaucoup. C'est très bien.
Merci.
C'est très
Merci
bien.
à vous.
Capri, I learned something, you know. You know, in my age, I learn something every day. This is why I'm in France, because so many things happening in France. All those young chefs, you know, they learn the basic French cooking, the classical French cooking, and then they add their own flavor to it. This is what the food in France, beautiful. Et thanks, merci pour vous. Merci bien.
Thank you very much.
J'aime bien votre chapeau.
Ouais, il est très beau.
Vous me le donnez?
Ouais, allez-y.
Pierre had the mountain spirit, and next he headed higher into the Alps, craving some body-warming food. This rugged region is famous for its cheeses, and dishes like fondue and raclette. Up in the mountains, Pierre found himself somewhere under a rainbow with his pot of gold. Actually, the pot was full of creamy reblochon cheese in the making, and Christine Perria was doing the stirring. Christine is a dynamo one-woman operation who gladly guided Pierre through the cheese-making process. A good cheesemaker knows exactly the moment the cheese is ready, when the curds are about the size of corn kernels. At this point, the curds are spilled out into cheesecloth-lined molds. The soft cheese soon takes shape and is gently turned to its other side. The maturing rounds then are left in molds for 12 hours before being bathed in a salty brine. Finally, they are laid out onto wooden shelves. After that, the cheese must be washed. Christine's one technological indulgence is a mechanical scrubber that sprays the cheese with cold mountain water. From here, the the cheese goes into aging cellars, where Pierre joined Christine to taste the delicious results of her hard, long labor.
Hein? La fermière, she knows how to make the cheese, that girl, I tell you. She's beautiful, and she knows how to make cheese.
It's good?
Good to learn, you know.
Very good? Very good. Very nice.
A taste and a kiss for good luck, and Pierre was on his way again through the verdant alpine passes and down to the foothills of the Alps. Pierre's resting spot was a hotel called Le Château, the castle, originally built in the 15th century and then transformed in the 19th. After a good night's rest, Pierre headed down for an early morning rendezvous with his guide for the day, Philippe Reveillon.
It's nice to see you. Vous avez eu une bonne nuit?
Very good. The night was very nice. And,
Did you have breakfast?
No, not yet. I should get up, you know.
Let's go.
Philippe and Pierre helped themselves to healthy servings of cereal and fruit, which they sat down to enjoy in the chateau's breakfast room. Philippe is a Paris-trained engineer who came to this countryside after his father-in-law's untimely death in 1981. Since then, he has transformed a family-run company making pots and pans into a thriving 21st century enterprise. Outside, the rain kept pouring down, so the two were in no rush to visit the factory. Les Abrets, population 2,500, is a company town, and the company is Bourgeat. Ever since it was founded at the turn of the century, this factory has manufactured the Mercedes-Benz of pots and pans. Inside, Philippe guided Pierre through his retooled modern plant. To show Pierre how cookware is made, he suggested first taking a look at the old-fashioned way of working. Traditionally, the process resembles pottery making, although of course with metal instead of clay.
On the shape. Using, you see, he uses a number of different passes, what we call pass.
Moving these things different holes.
Yeah, and you'll see that on the modern spinning machine, the principle is the same. The only difference is that it's the machine that does the work and not the worker. We used to have 20 people like that only 15 years ago. Now he is the last one that is capable, who is capable of manufacturing pieces of equipment like that. So we're still using that for prototypes or for small series like these small colanders that we make, or boilers, or couscousier, a few pieces.
Yeah. But around there's going to be a strainer.
And probably Mr. Bedick is the last man capable of doing that.
Look at that.
During the 21st century, you will not see that anymore.
Beautiful.
So we go to the other spinning machine.
Very good. Well,
Now here, I show you on a more modern spinning machine the way we can make a copper jam pot. It's the same machine that the one you've seen before. This machine is only semi-automatic. It copies the shape of the copper jam pot, and the workman's skill is not needed. It's a machine that works for itself.
amazing. The pressure is all there here. Push it.
Right.
And shape it.
Right. And we do it from a disc like that of copper, and it takes about 1 minute to make it.
It's amazing.
Now let me show you, after this operation, the polishing. We use brushes that are made out of sisal, some kind of cotton, and we also put some brushing polish cream of some kind to make it as perfect as possible. Here they just finished the article putting some handles by riveting. So they put the rivets here by punching a hole and pressing the rivet on. So they are copper rivets with copper handles. And after that we have to clean this article, which is very bright, and we are obliged to make it by hand because we don't have any mechanical process to do so, so that we keep the bright, shiny copper look.
Well, they look beautiful. I can't wait to have one to make my own jam.
That's right.
Spinning isn't the only way to make a pan. Philippe has introduced a more modern stamping process which uses giant interchangeable dies. The modern presses stretch the metal into shape and give it additional strength. Pierre could see that under Philippe's wise direction, bourgeois would keep its traditional soul as it entered the 21st century. Some worry that France will lose its special country flavor as it urbanizes. But after his all-too-short trip to the Alps, Pierre realized that this fear was groundless. In Savoie, as elsewhere, his homeland had succeeded in modernizing while guarding its traditional charm.
The recipes from today's show and from the entire series are contained in the companion cookbook Pierre Franey's Cooking in France. To order, call the toll-free number on your screen. The 336-page volume, complete with color photos, contains over 150 easy-to-follow recipes. The price is $30 plus shipping and handling. Please have your credit card ready when you call 1-800-358-3000. Pierre Franey's Cooking in France was made possible by the Grand Marnier Foundation, proud to support public television, and by Carillon Importers Limited, importing beverages in the spirit of quality.